building, the K. Subramonian Centenary Memorial Building. And to begin, I'd like our director and Mr. S. Shankar to start off with the ribbon cutting and then unveiling the flag.
Thank you. Could I request you to take the seats on stage, please? May I invite Professor Usha Vijayaraghavan, Dean of Biological Sciences, to kindly address the gathering to set context to this afternoon's program.
Good afternoon, distinguished visitors to IISc, my dear IISc colleagues, and my personal greetings to Director IISc and Dr. Shankar. It's indeed a privilege to have you all over here on this occasion of the inauguration of this building. So Dr. Shankar, the president of the Lakshmi Foundation, set up this foundation to further the philanthropic activities and make a difference in education, health, and hunger alleviation in the US, in Canada, and very good for us to know that he has many activities going on in India. So this foundation was set up in the memory of Mr. K. Subramonian, who was Dr. Shankar and his siblings, many of whom are here, the father of these four children. Mr. Subramonian's dedicated long service to the Indian Railways with steadfast commitment and integrity is the inspiration behind the Lakshman Foundation to give back. Their donation has enabled the Biological Sciences Annex building, wherein will be housed the Molecular Biophysics Unit and some more additional modern facilities for biological sciences research at IISc. Mr. Subramonian, let me tell you a little bit more about his vision and how beautifully it aligns with what IISc's vision is and what we aspire to be. Mr. Subramonian's steadfast commitment to the pursuit of learning for the benefit of society resonates with the vision of IISc and also that of the Division of Biological Sciences. We IIScians always aspire to contribute to the advancement of society through our scientific discoveries and training. We aspire to be the premier internationally renowned center for modern biology research. So a little bit about the Division of Biological Sciences for those of you who are coming here for the first time. The division is one among 7 divisions of IISc. That is the academic structure that the director advises and propagates all of their activities in research, education, innovation, and development. So the core of the research and innovation in biological sciences and allied areas is carried out by about 78 faculty members. So these are assistant professors, associate professors, professors, and more senior professors also. And each year, just this division admits about 140 students to join for coursework and research work, which they conduct over a period of time. And this leads them to leave the portals of IISc with a very, very cherished degree, a PhD degree, an integrated PhD degree, that is a dual master's PhD degree, or an MSc degree in life sciences. And some of our brightest of the brightest are MSc research students who leave with a biology major or biology minor. So each year, there's about 150 students who join the Division of Biological Sciences for their career development. Now, together with the student community, which is the heart and soul of the research activities that we do here, are many postdoctoral fellows. So these are those who have got their PhDs elsewhere in India, some of them even from abroad. They come in and join the faculty research teams. We have young investigators, again, those who have finished their postdocs around their bridging situation, going on to their independent careers. We have project assistants who come and work for 1 or 2 years over here to strengthen up their CV and make decisions about their career. So overall, in the biological sciences, we have a vibrant group of about 600 to 800 researchers. So this is the entire pool at any point. Immediate benefactors of your philanthropy and supporting this building is the Molecular Biophysics Unit. So I will tell you a tiny bit more about the Molecular Biophysics Unit. Just in case you all don't already know, this is already a very highly recognized academic center in the country and recognized internationally too. The Molecular Biophysics Unit was founded in 1971 by the internationally distinguished Professor G.N. Ramachandran, who, and now MBU is one among 6 academic departments in biological sciences. The other departments are the Department of Biochemistry, the Department of Microbiology and Cell Biology, the Department of Reproduction, the Department of Developmental Biology and Genetics, Center for Ecological Sciences, and the Center for Neurosciences. So these are 6 departments which constitute the division, and 1/6 of the division is going to be very much over here. Currently, the research in NBU is led by 13 very accomplished faculty groups. So their research is in frontline areas of molecular biophysics, structural biology, and physiology. Many of these faculty of NBU are nationally and internationally recognized for their pioneering work. And very interestingly, much of the innovative biotech innovations that are happening in biological sciences, several of them are led by the faculty from the MBU department. So their discoveries are making meaningful technologies for health interventions and also for biomanufacturing. So then that's the kind of activities which will go on in this building. So some examples of the focus areas of research that NBU faculty and their teams carry out are on studying the conformation of nucleic acids using various biophysical tools, NMR spectroscopy, different types of spectroscopy, X-ray crystallography, looking at how proteins and nucleic acids talk to each other, interact with each other, how are these processes dynamically controlled. They study protein structure and dynamics. They study synthetic protein design. They use the cutting edge tools of cryo-electron microscopy to study viral infections, and also use cryo-electron microscopy to look at macromolecular assemblies. So they have a lot of experience and strength in computational neuroscience, led from the front by the chair of the department, Professor Rishi Narayan. And they also carry on research on neurophysiology. So we are very, very thankful for being the benefactors of Mr. K. Subramonian's children and their families' generosity, so that we can continue with vigor on high quality scientific output. The publications, the patents, technology development and its transfer, as well as the nurturing environment that we want to build for the next generation of scientists and inventors will be the outcome of this center. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Usha. Now may I call Professor Anil Kumar, Dean, Administration and Finance, to take us through the building project.
Thank you. Good afternoon to all of you. I'm standing here on behalf of my colleague, Professor S.K. Satish, who is a Dean Planning and Infrastructure, who has overseen this project and taken it through his stage of the moment. I know that a lot of meticulous effort has gone in. And today we are seeing a beautiful building now, but there's a large number of people who are behind this current situation. So this building is of approximately 5,858 square meters, which is approximately 63,000 square feet. Multiple labs, instrumentation facilities, etc. are housed here. The foundation stone was laid in November 2022. That means less than 3 years from that day, we have a building which is ready to be occupied. I've seen personally also how much effort Professor Satish and the team was taking to get this building into the current state. Constant interaction between the Department of Molecular Biophysics unit, the faculty members, and the design team worked hard to design each and every aspect that the department needs in this building. So the efforts of CPWD, there are multiple buildings CPWD is doing in this campus. And I get very confident, in the initial days when people told about CPWD buildings, people have little bit skeptical. People were a little bit skeptical about it. But today we can very confidently say that these are the best buildings that you can see in the country. So that much meticulous effort has gone in from CPWD side. Vio is the architect and DE's Infra is the contractor who executed this project. And this was supported by the campus management, which is CCMP, and its engineers. A lot of integration had to be done between CCMP and CPWD. For example, installing the substation to provide power to this building, the STP plants for the sewage treatment and water lines. A lot of discussion has happened between CPWD team and our campus engineering team that has led to the final finish of this building. The faculty members are also giving a lot of inputs because finally this is occupied by the faculty and the students of NDU, and they have given a lot of inputs for each and every lab's design. So where the power point should be, where should be the plug, what should be the power requirement, what is the water inlet, where is the water outlet, the autoclave room, and all fine details have been incorporated in this modern building. And also the department has ordered the workbenches, state of the art. I mean, the quality of the workbenches are amazing because the chair, Professor Rishi, as well as Professor Siddharth Sharma, they visited the factory of Godrej and then took the videographs and the photographs of all the equipment that is going to come here. It looks simply amazing. And I was told that it was supposed to be start delivered from today, but the department requested to postpone it to tomorrow onwards because today there's an inauguration. So within the next couple of months, the labs will be fully occupied and we will have a state-of-the-art building for molecular biophysics and the biological sciences division. So I take this opportunity to thank Dr. Shankar for the generous support to this project, and that has led to, and the family, this has led to this state-of-the-art building in the IAC campus. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor. We now come to a very special segment of today's program, Reflections on the Values and Legacy of Sri T. Subramonian. I would like to invite Mr. S. Balakrishnan, Mr. S. Shankar, Mrs. Vijay Lakshmi Ramadas, and Mr. S. Mahadevan to address us all.
I am Balakrishnan, the eldest son of Mr. Subramonian. Here afterwards, I will call him Appa. Appa's knowledge of the world was versatile, and I had the good fortune to tap into it when I was a very curious child. There was no end to questions that I would put to him, and he would patiently sit with me and answer each and every one of them. I drew a wealth of knowledge from him that made a deep impression on me. Regarding questions of religion, of science, of world affairs. For example, I remember one instance when we were in Mysore and there was a news item saying Stalin was dead. And then he started to explain to me about Stalin. He said he was such a strong dictator and such a ruthless dictator that in his secret service there was a person named Beria, and people were terrorized by him. Once it seems he lost his shaving razor, Stalin, and then he told Beria, "What is this? My shaving razor is missing." and find it out for me. So after 10 minutes, he found it. He had kept it somewhere else and he found the razor. Then he called Beria and said, I have found the razor. He said, no problem, sir. 2 people have been shot and the third is confessing. That is how I can illustrate how he explained to me who started Paul. And regarding questions of religion, what is karma and what should you do? Should you expect to go to God and pray and for all your things to get fulfilled? No, you should pray to God because there is a super power. But at the same time, you have to work hard and try to resolve your issues and reach your goals. This is a short snippet about my Appa. And I will now hand over the mic to Shankar to continue the journey. Dear friends, there are many things I can say about Appa, but since time is short, I will just narrate a couple of items that I think had a major impact on the direction of my life. Ever since I was a young boy, I have wanted to become an engineer. And in India in those days, the India of 50s and 60s, it was natural for everybody to become a mechanical engineer. So I told my Appa that I wanted to become an engineer and that I would seek to become a mechanical engineer. He said, Shankar, I started that you take a look at electronic engineering. That is going to be the future. People are doing mechanical engineering, but there's going to be a lot of engineering for electronic engineering. That was enough for me. I turned my attention to electronics. I joined IIT Madras, decided to join electrical engineering at that time. And I think that was probably one of the best decisions I ever made. During the first year in IIT, I found the competition in IIT to be overwhelming. Students from all over the country, toppers from many schools from all over the country were in my class. The competition was severe. I felt a little bit demoralized. So I went to Appa and said, I do not know if I made the right decision in joining IIT Madras. The competition is very, very severe. He said, Shankar, have confidence in your own abilities. Do your work hard, the rest will follow. And that was it. I did what I could, and at the end of the 5th year, I'm happy to say I did extremely well. And I'm glad I did electronic engineering and IIT Madras. So he was able to guide me, inspire me to find the best that I can do. If I did my best, he assured me that I would succeed. Thank you very much.
Hello. So I would like to continue where Shankar left off. So we used to come home every weekend. And on Sunday evening, our car was driving back to the IIT campus. And I would always be there in the backseat. And I fell in love with the campus. And I said, right, I want to go to IIT as well. But in those days, there were very few women. And I said, then Appa's thing as usual was, Vidya, if you are able to pass the exam and you get admission, that's it. Whoever says no, it doesn't matter. My mother was very worried. She said, she goes to IIT, I don't think it's really marry her. So, we have to, so I think that's fine. And I ended up in IIT Madras as well. And I think, in addition, it was not just that he wanted us to achieve what. If he felt we could achieve something, it was don't have it happen. You just try. If you try, it will happen. And throughout his life, sometimes he had to make difficult decisions. He said it is difficult, It might mean you have to pay a cost, but always make the right decision. Don't sacrifice your principle for short-term gain. And I think that for me has stood me in good stead throughout my life. So today, given the support he gave for my education, which means I was the first female doctorate in the family. So to me, it's really, I don't have words to express the joy and the pride that his name, his values, and the integrity which he always showed is now being immortalized in this premier scientific institution in India. It's really great. Thank you.
I am Mahavivan, the youngest child of Mr. Subramonian. Since I'm last, I decided to see what the others were saying and tailor my talk accordingly. I'm going to hear from their path and sort of present what my father was from a very humanistic way, what he was. I think, of course, for all of us, fathers are strict figures as you were growing up. A little later on, I realized what a romantic person he was, because my mother was telling me later on, when he came to see her, those days it was all arranged marriage, mother told me he brought a bunch of mallipool and gave it to her. I mean, I think that stole her heart straight away. So, and then, of course, that was his romantic side. Then he, as we grew up, we always emphasized that we should study well. I did my master's from NITI, and 1977 I graduated. Just before graduation, I got interviewed and got job offers. And at that time, my father was in UK for an open heart surgery for his aneurysm. So I wrote to him saying, I've got 2 job offers and I'm going to accept this offer with premier honorariums. So he then wrote to me, said, you know, when I go to this operation, I will go without any stress, now that I know that since you have also got a job and all my children are well settled in life. I mean, that always, I keep in my memory, because it always was in his heart, like a student. You know, of course, he had to struggle through life to educate us all. There were times when it was very difficult. We were 3 children in hospitals at the same time, and he was in a government job, so you can imagine. It was very difficult. And then later on, you know, the other side of his persona after he retired, when he was working, all the work at home was managed by my mother. I never had seen him lending a hand to my mother or anything like that. So, you know, that was the impression I had. But after retirement, you know, he'd ask my mother, so what are you planning to leave to do? Then, based on that, he'd go to the market, buy the vegetables, buy whatever was needed, come home, and then, you know, in the evening, you cut the vegetables. I mean, I don't know if any of my siblings have seen how he cuts vegetables. It was precise. Kotoranga, for instance, they cut so small and nice, very easy for my mother. And then he'd sit at the dining table, and my mother would be cooking, and they'd carry on a conversation. So it was that other side of his persona that was so apparent. Mother and father were partners. It was not husband and wife, but 2 partners at that time. I mean, that really left an impression on me. So, I mean, I hope I've been able to convey to you a little bit of what sort of person he was. Thank you.
Thank you so much for this. It was really heartfelt. Now I request our director to deliver his address.
Thank you. First, let me thank
Shankar, like siblings, and Russian Foundation for this extremely gentle donation. It has made this whole structure possible. So it's good because of the generosity of people like you that IAC will take up these ventures. And for IAC it's very appropriate because we were started by philanthropy by Ken. So it's in our DNA, the whole idea of building things with philanthropy. So it's very appropriate, that this building is also affected through your philanthropy. So I met Shankar in Atlanta, Dr. Prasad Garibala, in his house in 2022, and then over dinner, immediately I was one of my fundraising trips to the US, and he immediately was so forthcoming, saying that yes, we will do something right over dinner, and then soon after, he consulted his family members and others, and the whole thing fructified. Then, of course, another happy coincidence was, the IAC Foundation, which looks after the funding fundraising from the US. George Brody happened to know him also, so that also was something which helped. So the many factors sort of came together and led to this very generational donation. Again, it's a wonderful gesture on the part of your family, and I was very grateful for that. So thank you.
Thank you, Professor. It is now my honor to welcome our chief guest, Dr. Subramonian Chandar, President of the Lakshan Foundation, to address the gathering.
Thank you, Professor Rajan, for the very kind words. And thank you, Professor Vishal Vijayaraghavan, for giving us an idea about what is going on in the world of biophysics, even in the biosciences department. So, distinguished members of the faculty, dear family, dear friends. So, I wear two hats here. One is the son of his phenomenon, and the other being the founder of a foundation called Lakshan Foundation. So I'm going to be wearing the second one. I'm going to be talking to you as the founder of the Lakshan Foundation. First, it is truly an honor for me to be here today to participate in the inauguration of the new building of the Molecular Biophysics Unit of the Biosciences, Biological Sciences at IAC. I will also say that I feel rather humbled that we have been in a position to provide the support that our IAC needs for this very important work. The word about the Lakshan Foundation itself. So I founded the Lakshan Foundation in 2019. I founded it after I sold a company called American Megatrends Inc. It's popularly known as AIMR. And it had home success by selling software, firmware, and hardware products to many of the computer manufacturers in the world. And it sold to almost every computer maker in the world. So AIMR's customers look like Apple, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, Intel. So, for example, in Europe, Nokia, Alcatel, in Korea, like Samsung. In China, like Huawei, when we could sell to Huawei, because the US imposed an embargo on Huawei with Alibaba, Baidu, in Japan, in companies like Fujitsu, Panasonic. I mean, even in India, to companies like Wipro and HCL. The company was very successful and was considered the leading provider of certain very specialized products. And it was considered the world leader in those categories. And therefore, the sale was a very financially rewarding incident. So since I was financially well set, I decided that it was time that we thought about giving back to the society which had been so good to me. The result was that Lakshman Foundation was founded with the goal of advancing causes in the areas of hunger alleviation, education, maybe cultural activities, and health. So we support activities mainly in the United States, but with links to activities in countries like India and Canada. So we're supporting projects in IIT Madras, for example, at every university in the US, University of Nebraska in Canada, Centenary, for example, in India, American Association, Cultural Association in the US, and so on and so forth. So it was natural when I met Professor Subramonian in 2022 that I seriously considered contributing something to IISc. Because IISc is very well known the world over for its cutting edge research. There was also a coincidence. 2022 was the birth centenary of our. And within the family, we have been having some discussions about doing something meaningful to commemorate this birth centenary. So here was IISc. Here was something to do about our past birth centenary. The two came together. So in talking to Professor Subramonian, we went back and forth. I was initially thinking about the library project in IISc. Then in talking to George Brody, I learned about this molecular biophysics unit and decided that maybe this is the one that we should study. And why the molecular biophysics unit? It has a lot to do with the values that are positive for. It has a lot to do with the roles of the molecular biophysics unit itself. You know, Appa was a man of honesty and integrity, supported hard work and perseverance. But the most important thing is he was a great believer in the power of education. Education as a tool to uplift the individual, not only the individual who is there, but uplift the society itself. So here was IISc, a cutting edge research institution, and an educational institution also. So it was natural to provide support to Appa himself had a very good variety. He's known as the sorting clerk in the railway main service department. They go through hardware. He was able to switch to the officer's building. And through diligence and all what he was able to rise to senior positions in the branch. But it's not really the area of the writers that we are thinking about at the moment. It's a value system. So if you think about the molecular biophysics movement itself, it focuses on research at the molecular atomic level. In order to be able to garner success, in order to be able to produce results, a lot of research work has been going hard work, perseverance, honesty, and integrity. All these are required to succeed. These are some of the values that were exemplified in our past life. So putting the two together, the molecular biophysics stands for some of the values that are positive. So supporting this activity here, it is mine, it is our, it is the family's story. But the research scholars, the students, so we come to the Indian Institute of Science for this academic excellence. We end up in the molecular biophysics division. We end up doing research here. We'll pass on and embrace the value system of honesty, integrity, hard work, and perseverance, which I'm sure we need from all them to get great results and improvements. And who knows, as we are talking, we're going to even a Nobel Prize, but at least uplifting to men. Thank you all very much.
Thank you. We have a small token of our appreciation for you, Dr. Shankar. I request the director to hand that over. Small tokens of appreciation for the rest of the dignitaries. I request Dr. Bhushan, the director, to hand them over. On this occasion, we are also delighted to release a short brochure on the building project. May I request our dignitaries on the stage to kindly do the honors? Thank you so much. May I now invite Professor Rishikesh Narayanan, Chair of Molecular Biophysics Unit, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Director Professor Rangaraj, Registered Technical Leader 1, Dean Professor Anil Kumar, and Mr. Satishwas. Dr. Vijay ODA Chair, Professor Vinay, President of the Lakshan Foundation, Mr. Subramonian Shankar, all the esteemed family members of Mr. Subramonian, faculty, staff, students of MBU and IAS, members of CPWD and the contracting firm, members of CCMD, and all members of the audience. It is my proud privilege and honor to thank profusely and gratefully all of you and others for ensuring that we are under this roof, inaugurating the K. Subramonian Centenary Memorial. This is a celebration, a fitting tribute to the outstanding efforts of and contributions from several people over the past decade to realize this dream of a new building to house the molecular biophysics unit. For each of the people I mentioned here, merely saying thanks for all their selfless effort and contributions sounds rather vacuous. I request the audience to give a big round of applause for each person or the collective that I mentioned. Any endeavor starts with the motivations. That the necessity is what drives it up. The dreams, power. Yeah. The molecular biophysics unit, MBU for short, the department that will be housed in this building, was founded by the renowned biophysicist Professor G.N. Ramachandran, the inventor of the eponymous. The department was established in 1971. Since then, we have grown into an epitome of scientific excellence and technical expertise in diverse aspects of biophysics research. Our uniqueness comes from our interdisciplinarity, not just within the institute, but across the country. We are known and respected for our interdisciplinary expertise. Among our current faculty members are biologists, chemists, engineers, pharmacists, physicists, physiologists, all working under one roof to address outstanding questions in biophysics and biology. We have been attracted to students from a wide variety of backgrounds. We have among our current set of students, biologists, chemists, engineers, pharmacists, physicists, and doctors, a diversity of them who have been attracted to the department over the decades. Our scientific research programs offer rich diversity spanning all aspects of biophysical research, including bacterial interactions, integrated biophysics, modeling, protein structure and function, structural biology, vaccine research, research on neurological disorders, protein interactions with proteins and nucleic acids, to just mention a few of them. This diversity and excellence have offered students a broader perspective of what science is through the several rigorous courses that we teach and mentorship that we offer. This offers the students a wider perspective rather than being shackled by being a biologist or a physicist or an engineer or a chemist or a mathematician. It offers them the academic freedom and the intellectual space to bring true interdisciplinary, to being true interdisciplinary scientists. As testimony to this, current members and alumni of the MBU are on the forefront of interdisciplinary biophysics research with outstanding contributions to research, education, administration, and policy aspects of science. The collaborations that we have within the department, within the institute, within the country, and internationally also offer testimonies to the rigor and excellence that we have stood for and continue to stand. The department currently houses 13 faculty members. Of these, 9 of our laboratories are crammed into the main MBU building with the equipment sitting on the corridors. Every time the safety inspection committee comes to our building, they send us a large report with red flags, with pictures, and telling us to make sure that this doesn't happen again. But some of them are not necessarily problems with the laboratories, it was with the infrastructure itself. So 9 out of 13 in the main building. 2 others have somehow managed to fit their laboratories into an adjacent building, which was meant to be an office space for a joint program between IISc and DR. It used to be called as JADP for those of you. One of us is housed in the NMR Research Center far away, and another is in the CID, thanks to their generosity. So the first necessity, therefore, was space. That is where the whole thing started. Right? I mean, we as an outstanding biophysical research department had grown so much that we couldn't be fit into that small building. So that was the need, that was the necessity that drove the whole thing. And the second thing was infrastructure. Our building was built over 50 years ago, and it is not equipped for the requirements of modern biophysics research. As I mentioned, safety inspections invariably issued red flags each and every time. And there were unfixable structural deficits that were continuing from the previous century, not necessarily from this century, but from the previous century. And so those 2 things, the requirement of space and the requirement of infrastructure was the one that drove the necessity. It's not out of something else that we wanted this, but out of need, of necessity that we wanted this. then we just need alone not suffice. You need a dreamer, you need a visionary. The dream and the vision were of Professor Srinivasan, who is sadly no longer with us, who dreamt of a modern biophysics department with around 20 to 25 faculty members representing all aspects of life. He had started working towards rectifying our limitations, which all of us were well aware of, immediately after he took over as chair in 2018. So that is where the story is. Right? So there is a need, there is a necessity, there is a requirement, and then there is a visionary who thinks of things that has to be done to ensure that we get what we deserve in some. So I distinctly remember the online meeting with Mr. Rangarajan when he had become the director with all the MBU faculty members during the pandemic. So we have collectively voiced our need for a new building. Given all these major issues, the infrastructure problems that were present, Professor Rangarajan, in technical style that everybody knows, he heard us out, recognized our problems with space and infrastructure and the need to expand, and gave us the green signal to provide us with the new space. So on behalf of everyone in MBU, I first thank Professor Rangarajan for greenlighting this project and all his efforts. So going to space and infrastructure constraints, we have not hired any faculty members for the past 3 years and have been lagging behind the target of 15 faculty that other biological sciences departments have. Thankfully, we are now at different stages of publications from 3 high-quality candidates in different fields, AI in biophysics, molecular biophysics, and mass spectrometry. Now that we have the infrastructure in the space, we hope to hire soon and ensure that we don't miss out the bus on these important areas. I mean, AI in biophysics is something that has caught the imagination of pretty much everybody. The Nobel Prize last year was 12-fold, and to David Baker for AI in synthetic biology. So we thank you, all our enablers and well-wishers, so much for the space and the infrastructures. All members of MBU and IISc profusely and gratefully thank Mr. Subramonian, the President of Lakshan Foundation, for the generous philanthropy to the institute that helped in executing this project. We thank you very much for your kind words about MBU and IISc and agree with you that the importance of education, integrity, dignity, and perseverance for every single person in the society. Thank you, sir. All members of MBU and IISc gratefully thank all the members of the Subramonian family for enabling this. All we can do is we can assure you that we will continue in the path of excellence that we have been paving for the past 5 decades, taking research in our department to greater heights. As the Dean, Professor Usha Vijayaraghavan mentioned, our department has been on the forefront of using biotech research for the benefit of society, which would be a befitting tribute to the outstanding legacy of Mr. K. Subramonian, as well as Professor Dakshin mentioned. All members of MBU gratefully thank Professor Vinaya and all members of ODA for acting as liaison between the institute and the family members of K. Subramonian and making sure that this is possible. Okay, so we have the need, that we have the necessity, we have the green flag, we have the funds. The most important part is the execution stage, right? So that's the most essential and difficult step in the whole process. It started with the design of the building, where the architects Vyom brought us different options, and we had provided our detailed specifications about every single aspect of the building, about design, infrastructure, lab requirements, what should be the weight, what should be the load bearing capacity, all of that, every single aspect of it, we had made comments about. We agreed upon the specification at which stage, in consultation with Dean TMA, the design was approved. At this stage, the construction, the civil works, the electrical works, and other things were initiated and executed by CPWD, the contractors, and CCM. Once the building plan and the construction were in place, we moved to the interiors, where the first and major tender for laboratory furniture and AV systems. The tender was promoted, and with the help from the purchase department and GANF, I'm happy to say that we have cleared the final steps for the purchase. The furniture will start coming in from the next week onwards. As Professor Anil Kumar mentioned, they were going to come today. We said not today, from tomorrow onwards, please. So the members of MBU profusely and gratefully thank several people for this most critical phase, the execution phase of the project, without whose help this whole process would have fallen apart. First, members of MBU gratefully thank the selfless efforts and contribution by the Committee of Deans, the Dean PNI, Professor Satish, Dean ANF, Professor Anil Kumar, and Dean Biology, Professor Usha Vijayaraj. Your expertise and help have been invaluable. Thank you for guiding us through it this time. As I mentioned, the construction, the civil works, and the electrical works were initiated and carefully executed by CPWD. Yeah. The members of MBU gratefully thank the ADG and the supervising engineer, Mr. Saurabh Yadav of CPWD, for their attention to details in this building. We also thank CCTMD for coordinating with the contractors in ensuring that this was possible. We gratefully thank Mr. Aniruddha Gupta, Mr. Ravi Gupta, and Mr. Ravi Gupta from Tech Infra, the contractors who diligently put together this building and the interiors with outstanding attention to detail. Being chair of the department when a new building for the department is being constructed is a thankless job. No, I'm not indulging in self-praise. I refer to Professor Siddharth Sharma, who is there, who was the chair during the entire execution phase. I just took over as chair over the past few months. I'm still figuring out the balance between defiance and compliance. So I'm not referring myself here. As I mentioned earlier, a mere thank you is vacuous for each of your contribution. That holds for Professor Siddharth as well. But MPU profusely thanks Professor Siddharth Sharma, who continues to guide us on all of them. The defining contribution of Siddharth as chair was the future well-being of each and every one of us. In his tireless, extremely selfless, he's going to retire in a few years. So, I mean, he doesn't have to think about the building, but he went after it like it is his own personal project. And laborious effort that he put with reference to the new building for our department. Right from the design stage of the building, where he achieved efficacious and unbiased distribution of resources, through the construction stages where he kept track of each stage of the process, and the design and tendering of the furniture. We went together to the Godrej factory to make sure that the quality was good enough. The time, tireless efforts, and the exquisite attention to detail he put in are stupefyingly monumental and outstandingly excellent. This level of dedication and selflessness requires a deep level of respect for what this department and this institute stand for. Thank you so much, Professor Sudarshan. The building committee of MBU is comprised of Professor Siddharth Sharma, Professor Arvind Pennell, Professor Somnath Datta. All members of MBU faculty provided inputs. Professor Siddharth Junjunwala from the Bioengineering Department and Mr. Gopi Punkipudi from the Purchase Department. Each one of them took it as their own personal project and made very important contributions at each and every step of this process through the several meetings that we sat together and the visits to the showrooms, the factories, and other existing installations to ensure that the quality of the product was acceptable. I thank the building committee and all members of MBU for being there whenever we needed them for the process. Thank you so much. This has been a long process over several years, requiring meticulous record keeping and efficient organizations of the several meetings and visits. I thank the MBU office staff and technical staff for executing this so diligently and efficiently. In summary, on behalf of all members of MDU, thank you so much again to each and every one of you for all your time, efforts and contributions to making this dream, this necessity, this vision a reality. We promise to invest our time and effort in ensuring that these efforts and contributions of yours are recognized and respected by taking biophysics research in the Institute to greater heights. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor. With that, we formally conclude today's inaugural program. I would request the family members and the senior faculty of IISc to stay back for a couple of photographs. Students and other guests are warmly invited to the lab on the ground floor for hiding. Thank you all.